Well, today, for the film's 75th anniversary, I thought I'd look back at one of the most well known film noirs ever made, Sunset Boulevard, starring William Holden, Gloria Swanson, Erich von Stroheim. It's one of the most beloved and classic films ever made. And this is one that I saw in school many years ago. Um, in film class, we watched this, and if there's anything people remember or even know about, actually not remember, but if you've never watched the film, people typically know the beginning of the film because it's one of those movies where uh, the protagonist of the film, uh, Joe Gillis, who's played by William Holden. He's narrating the film, but he's he's dead. He's in a swimming pool, and also the way that whole shot was done with like the mirror image and everything, it's just like you're using mirrors and everything. Of course, this was back in 1950 or 1949. Would have been around when they actually shot the film. But yeah, this is a film that is uh, very well loved and appreciated, and rightfully so. Um, on the back, it says it is intense, enthralling, and unforgettable. Sunset Boulevard stars Gloria Swanson as Norma Desmond, a faded silent movie star, and William Holden as Joe Gillis, a down on his luck screenwriter whom she enlists the help to make her triumphant return to the screen. And obviously, since she was from the silent era, uh, she so much time has passed that many people have moved on, especially with sound, and also certain films were in color, in actual color, not the certain scenes are hand painted, frame by frame, for certain sequences to be in look like actual color. Um, Another component is that Joe Gillis, he's a I don't know, he's like screenwriter as it says here, and he's contemplating of having to go back to Ohio where he's from and to work at the paper again, because he's not really having much luck with the various scripts and stories he submits. But a woman named Betty Schaefer, she's like a uh, she reads all the various scripts that that are submitted to a studio, in this case Paramount Pictures, which makes sense because produced the they produced the film and distributed it. Um, she read one of his scripts, and she wasn't fond of it. She didn't think it was overall very good, though. They get to talking, and now there's like a certain part in in, a, in something he wrote that she thought was very good. It's just that then, or like, it's supposed to be like a baseball film, but there's a certain like subplot or source that's actually really good, and that should be like the focus of the film. And eventually, the two of them start to write that movie together. All the while, he's also supposed to be writing Norma's comeback. And Erich von Stroheim, he plays Max, Norma's butler. And yeah, things do get very intense as Joe and Norma have develop a relationship, and this is a really good film. Uh, Co-written and directed by Billy Wilder. Um, this is just one of the most classic films ever made. An interesting thing about this release is look at how thick this Blu-ray is. Yeah, it's similar to like the thickness of a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 or 5, whatever. A video game kind of cartridge. It's fairly similar to that. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the same kind of thickness. But I thought that was interesting. But yeah, excellent film. I remember really loving this film when I saw it in school. Still do. It's one of those films that's just a classic. This film won 3 Academy Awards: Best Original Screenplay. So Billy Wilder won an Oscar uh, for this, and also won Best Art Direction, Set Direction, Black and White, and Best Score, or scoring of a dramatic or comedy picture. So I guess for back then, for screenplay, it was Best Story and Screenplay. That's how they kind of differentiated the two of adapted and original back in those days. But I think William Holden should have won Best Actor, and Gloria Swanson. I really think her. It would have been really cool if she won Best Actress. But then also All About Eve came out the same year, which won Best Picture and Director. I think Screenplay also. But yeah, the best story and screenplay, was what became eventually, original screenplay. Um, but but yeah, All About Eve also won those 3 Oscars in supporting actor. But yeah, Betty Davis was up that year, as was her name is escaping me. I'll probably actually talk about that next week, so I don't have to get into every single person that was there. But yeah, I think those two kind of cancel each other out. But then you know, yeah, Judy Holliday won though for a film which well, hold on here, just one moment. Yeah, okay. I just pulled it up here. Yeah, Born Yesterday. That was the movie that Judy Holliday won, and Anne Baxter was also nominated for All About Eve. But yeah, I think Davis and Baxter being nominated together in the same category probably canceled that out. Um, Julie Holliday wasn't bad. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw that film, but yeah, it wasn't bad at all in that film. And so that's like a win that I'm fine with. Eleanor Parker was nominated for Caged, and Gloria Swanson, obviously up for Sunset Boulevard. All About Eve is excellent, and so is this. I think in a way, when looking at this, I would have loved if William Holden won. Jose Ferrer though won for Scenario de Burrat. De Berg, yes. Yeah, based on the French French drama. Yeah. So yeah, that's a. I don't know if I saw that film. I might have, or at least part of it. I think I've seen probably clips because sometimes when looking at certain films like what one what and people discussing, they'll show various clips. But yeah, William Holden would have been a good choice, I think, to have won. James Stewart was nominated for Harvey. Uh, Lewis Calhoun was nominated for The Magnificent Yankee, and Spencer Tracy for Father of the Bride. Yeah. But yeah, All About Eve. I think in terms of awards, it winning Best Picture and Director and all that, I think that is fairly. It's one of those things where I think in terms of like awards and stuff, these two films, I think it is sort of like it winning like the Best Picture and so on. I think that's fine, you know. Though I think in terms of like a favorite, if I was gonna between the two, I think that yeah, this would be my absolutely go to for sure. Like I don't know, I just really love this film. It's a very very I don't know. There's something about this that I just truly truly love to rewatch every so often. I don't watch this a whole lot, but like one of those gotta watch it like consistently here and there, like maybe like once or twice a year. But some movies like that they're just your favorite, like your absolute top, and there's always like at least one time specifically like a year you're gonna watch this, and so that isn't necessarily, or this isn't necessarily one of those for me. Might be for any of you who have seen this film, and I could absolutely understand that because the story is very, very good. The characters are interesting. The performances are excellent. This is a phenomenal film. And next week I do want to talk about All About Eve because that is an excellent film too. And of course, on the back here it has the famous line that is always discussed with this film. All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. And yeah, they got Cecil B. DeMille to be in this film for a scene, and that's really cool. But yeah, this is yeah, yeah, obviously here that has this is a region-free Blu-ray, but yeah, obviously it has the like the region 2 um ratings here, PG, or region B, I guess. Yeah, region B. Yeah, PG contains suicide references, mild violence, language, and sex references. Yeah. But yeah. And of course, Gloria Swanson became so synonymous with this part. In so many ways, people believed she was Norma Desmond. Like, that was, like, she wasn't acting. She just was able to just essentially pretend and be in the moment. She didn't have, it didn't have to pretend, just be in the moment. Like, just say these lines. It's like, they came naturally because that's who she is. She didn't really have to do much acting. Because she was sort of like one of those actresses from the silent era that did kind of fade away, but then this film really brought her back, and she is excellent. I love her in this film. She's one of those characters you just like you feel sorry for them in some ways, but also it's like she does need to have a reality check, though in such a way where it's going to be good and not just one of those reality checks that's going to be a very it's going to crash everything around her. Um, but yeah, she lives in this world that does not, really that isn't around really anymore. Um, any remnants of that world that she was from in the film industry is, just people who are able to keep working and were able to go with sound. And because some silent actors and actresses weren't able to translate to sound, at all. Of course, some people did think it back then it was just a fad that, oh, one movie here or there, that's just gonna be, people aren't gonna really want to watch those kind of films. But obviously, that took off, and theaters installed all the necessary audio, speakers, and everything for sound to be heard, and not just have like a organ being played or what have you during the film by somebody actually there. So, yeah, obviously, Norma Desmond was one of those who wasn't able to keep up and translate to, or keep up, just wasn't able to translate to the sound age of film. So, that's sad. It's unfortunate for so many who, during the silent era, they were very good. But then again, some people would say, well, that's overacting. They were just very, very active with their hands and facial expressions and all that, which really had to do. And so many of them were obviously in. Many people were who acted in those days, and even now. But they did stage work, and on the stage, you did have to use a lot of gestures, like with your hands and everything, and the movements. With film, especially back then, you did have to do it. Do something similar to back then. And even now, though, with the advent of obviously sound, you're able to hear what is being said, and there can be a track for the score also to accompany it. Some of those things don't have to be so, what would be considered now like for performances. They don't have to be so theatrical. And if they are, usually that probably would be like the director wants it to be quite theatrical. Whether or not it works is obviously up for debate, but yeah, that's just how things are. Or that's how things were back then, and yeah, it's one of those. This is one of those films that it does showcase how somebody who was at one point at the top is no longer there. However, they think their comeback is just right around the corner. They're very delusional and have certain things wrong with them, more ways than one, and they probably should have or be seen by a doctor to really give them a good examination mentally Um, and I know back then in like the 40s and the 50s, stuff like that isn't like today, where you can perhaps properly uh, attribute somebody's mental instabilities easier than back. It's easier, I guess, nowadays, since so much has been learned over the years about various mental issues that people have, certain delusions. But back then, not so much. Um, and this film really does a good job of an actress who is very is of the mindset that at any point she will be back on top, even though it becomes clear as the film goes on that the industry has moved on, and yeah. Anyway, this is a very good film. Um, Everybody involved with the film did an excellent job. Um, yeah, I don't believe I've really spoiled anything. I mean, we know Joe is dead. That's because at the very beginning, but everything that leads up to that, yeah. I mean, I guess you could perhaps try to follow the little traces I said about about Norma and all, but still, you never know. Max is there. He's an interesting character. I'll just say that because, yeah, when you watch the film, if you haven't done so already, you will be very. Yeah, his character is very interesting. But I'll just say that. And he got nominated for an Oscar too. Who did he lose to? Supporting actor. George Sanders for All About Eve. Oh, all right. Yeah. I already said supporting actor earlier, and I knew it was All About Eve, but yeah, George Sanders was the one who won, and fair enough. Um, but if Erich von Stroheim won, would have been a very good win. But yeah. Anyway, I hope this was of interest to anybody who hasn't seen the film, as well as anybody who has seen the film. And if you have seen the movie, what do you think? Do you enjoy, or at least maybe perhaps, do you like Sunset Boulevard? Do you love it? Do you dislike it? Why or why not? Um, and do you think that this should have won Best Picture over All About Eve, or was All About Eve the right choice? I mean, I do kind of lean. I do definitely lean in that direction. That film winning was like no issues. I definitely see why, but also when rewatching this, especially as of late, yeah, I kind of did want like Billy Wilder's film to win, but you know, these two are really neck and neck, and I guess again for favorite film of 1950, I would probably just go with this. But perhaps in terms of best, like with accolades and such, yeah, I think All About Eve winning, I think makes a good amount of sense. But that's my opinion, and who knows? Maybe at some point down the line, I might change my mind. That is very possible, I think, and even reasonable. Both are phenomenal films. These would be like probably like my top two of 1950 for sure. But yeah, I enjoy this film. It's a classic and excellent film noir. It's also a dark comedy. So there you go. I think it's even described as a black comedy. Yeah, black comedy. Yeah, which does absolutely does have elements of black comedy. So you know, the Wikipedia little entry of saying it's an American black comedy film noir. It is not wrong. Though it might not be a bust a gut laughing type comedy, but there is quite a bit of humor, or a good amount of humor in this that's quite dark. And in some cases, that's the best kind of humor. Just like Doctor Strangelove. That's my favorite comedy of all time. And it's about potential nuclear annihilation. And what could be more funny than that? Stanley Kubrick was able to make that hilarious, so there you go. And Billy Wilder was able to make this phenomenal film. It's just great. Yeah. And Buster Keaton is in this too. He's one of her guests in the movie. You'll see if you watch it. You'll see him as a card game, and he's there. But yeah. Anyway, I don't want to give too much away about what all led up to Joe and Norma meeting and everything, but yeah, it's quite something. So anyway, Sunset Boulevard is a classic, and it definitely deserves all the praise it has received, honestly, in my opinion. And yeah, hope you've minded me blathering on for 27 minutes. I can understand, though, if you didn't and thought that I was quite annoying. But anyway, hope you all are doing well. Hope you're all having a great day. Hope you've had a great week, and hope you'll have a great next week and a great weekend. And I hope your year has started off quite well. This is my first video of the year, so yeah. Just wanted to take a bit of a break after kind of doing a bunch of stuff. More than I usually do. Usually take a break here and there, but yeah. Anyway, hope this was worth something, and if not, I'm sorry. Anyway, I've kind of blathered on more now, for like 28 minutes or so. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. And yeah, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.